Albinism, from genotype to phenotype. Phenotype. What does a person with albinism look like? Oculocutaneous albinism is a group of conditions that affect coloring, pigmentation, of the skin, hair, and eyes. Approximately 1 in 20,000 exhibit this disorder, and affected individuals typically have very fair skin and white or light-colored hair. Long-term sun exposure greatly increases the risk of skin damage and skin cancers, including an aggressive form of skin cancer called melanoma. Albinism also reduces pigmentation of the colored part of the eye known as the iris, and the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye called the retina. People with this condition usually have vision problems such as reduced sharpness, rapid involuntary eye movements, nystagmus, and increased sensitivity to light, photophobia. Melanin is an extremely important molecule in humans for many reasons, one being its ability to protect the DNA in the cell's nucleus from damage by UV light from the sun. This is one reason the skin darkens after being exposed to sunlight, and people living closer to the equator have darker skin for this extended protection. Albinism is not only seen in humans, as it is actually found across all major animal groups since nearly all produce melanin. It has been observed in countless species of mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and even invertebrates. This is not surprising since the gene for melanin production, the protein responsible for producing pigment in the skin, hair, and eyes, is similar among these species. All it takes is one small change to result in a change in this protein's shape to make it non-functional. In humans, the 4 types of oculocutaneous albinism are designated as type 1, OCA1, through type 4, OCA4. Oculocutaneous albinism type 1 is characterized by white hair, very pale skin, and light-colored irises. Type 2 is typically less severe than type 1. The skin is usually a creamy white color, and hair may be light yellow, blonde, or light brown. Type 3 includes a form of albinism called rufous oculocutaneous albinism, which usually affects dark-skinned people. Affected individuals have reddish-brown skin, ginger or red hair, and hazel or brown irises. Type 3 is often associated with milder vision abnormalities than the other forms of oculocutaneous albinism. Type 4 has signs and symptoms similar to those seen with type 2. Because their features overlap, the 4 types of oculocutaneous albinism are most accurately distinguished by their genetic cause. Genotype. Which genes are affected that cause the disorder? The 4 types of oculocutaneous albinism each result from mutations in single genes: TYR, OCA2, TYRP1, or SLC45A2. Changes in the TYR gene cause type 1. Mutations in the OCA2 gene are responsible for type 2. TYRP1 mutations cause type 3, and changes in the SLC45A2 gene result in type 4. These genes are involved in producing the pigment melanin. In the retina, melanin also plays a role in normal vision. Mutations in any of these genes disrupt the ability of cells to make melanin, which reduces pigmentation in the skin, hair, and eyes. Alterations in the MC1R gene can change the appearance of people with oculocutaneous albinism type 2. This gene helps regulate melanin production and is responsible for some normal variation in pigmentation. People with genetic changes in both the OCA2 and MC1R genes have many of the usual features of oculocutaneous albinism type 2, including light-colored eyes and vision problems. However, They typically have red hair instead of the usual yellow, blonde, or light brown hair seen with this condition.